Welcome back to Voice of the Valley. Today we have a very special guest, Tessa Zamolyi. She was an international player that played for Portugal, and she is also a coach at Moravian University. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Pretty good. So you were one of the few that we did a podcast with 2-3 weeks ago, and we had some technical difficulties. But overall, how was your experience coming on the show?
I honestly loved being on the show. It was a great way to talk about my experience. So even with the technical difficulties, I'm happy to come back and reshare.
Awesome, awesome. And just recently you were in Portugal. How was that experience visiting your old teammates?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. Words can't even describe. It's my second home. So going back to where I lived for about a year, I could have cried. And just seeing all my teammates and seeing them in action, it was a great different point of view. I loved being with all of them again.
Did they encourage you to come back and play?
Some of them did, but I would just go back to visit anyway. I have to go in the summer when it's hot because this time it's winter. Their winter is all rain compared to what we get. So I have to go back in the warmer months and there's more to do.
So is there any chance, even if it's small, that you're going to play professional again?
If I get another offer, I'll consider it, but I really do like where I'm at in my point of life. I have a great job. I have a great coaching job as well. And recently just moved out, so I'm living on my own and I'm really set where I am in life. But
All
I'll
right.
consider it.
Hey, if ACL can find you any offers, we will definitely give them to you.
Okay.
We'll lead them your way. So growing up, what was your experience like picking up a basketball and taking charge and leading the way with that?
I was one of those kids where my parents put me in all sports. So I did everything when I was younger. I was a very active child. And the two sports that I actually stuck with was basketball and track. Basketball, I remember playing it at the start of like 4 years old and then just continuing it till I was about 24 years old playing in Portugal. So just that was something that was very consistent with my life. And I'm a very competitive person. So it allowed me to branch out, meet new people, see what kind of skill set and potential I have. And I, again, was just very active, very intense. So it was a very nice outlet in terms of handling my emotions and just going through life, learning so many things through the sport.
And then what position did you play more? Like, what were your strengths?
I was definitely a shooting guard and a power forward, regular forward. Most of the time, definitely in the paint, even though I'm not really a typical forward per se in terms of my stature. I was quick moving, I was tall, so I was able to make those quick moves down low, but also be able to shoot from the outside.
You got a good 3-point shot?
I think so.
Maybe?
I definitely had some good ones.
Okay. What about one-on-ones? Are you ever thinking about getting into these one-on-one games that they're going around now?
I think it would be a good match. I would stick to my strong suits. So I would definitely look to make a move inside with my quickness and rebounding. I can go for anything. I have a great court IQ and a visual of where the ball's going to land. So if everybody goes to one side and the basketball's over on the other side, I know where it's going. I'm already there before anybody can think about it. So I would definitely try and post up in the paint on those one-on-ones.
Yeah. Did you see Cass play 2v2 couple months ago during the summer?
Really?
You didn't see Cassidy play 2v2?
I heard about those 2v2s, but I never was able to watch them in action.
Yeah, I think she played with T. You know who T is?
Tenia
Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's a good matchup.
They were on the same team.
Together. Yeah, that's a good team.
So, some girls from Philly were talking wild. They drove up all the way over here. They're talking, well, I'm from Philly. All this stuff, right? All this aggression.
Oh, okay.
But, they kept their mouths shut, got the dub, and came home with it.
See, that's what I love. It's like, okay, you can talk, but now you got to show and actually put those words into action. So good for them.
Yeah, facts. So let's go through basketball nowadays. So you're coaching now. So what is different now from the past when you were in high school that kids are doing now? I know 3-point shooting is big now, But what else has evolved in the game?
So I definitely think, and I can remember this from when we spoke the first time, just in terms of difference and comparisons from high school to college and college to professional, the speed of the game. So the speed of the game is huge and not hard to adapt to, but it's definitely something that catches you off guard, plus the physicality. So I definitely think, along with 3-point shooting, it's a little bit of, I don't want to say a selfish act, but it's taking away from everything else that you have in your skill set. So, what else can you do besides 3-point shooting? Okay, it's great. You got a 3-point shot, but once that's taken away, what do you have? Like, else are you able to do? Are you able to drive? Are you able to rebound? Like, are you able to drive and assist looking for other players, or can you just shoot? So, yeah, it's a great thing to look for and it's a great thing to have if you're a sharpshooter, but look for other things that contribute to the game fully.
Hmm.
So what's one of the earliest basketball memories that sticks with you?
Um, Honestly, probably when I was playing Northampton Rec League. This was when I was about in 6th grade. I believe it was one of the earliest moments where I learned how to play defense. So, one of my coaches, his name was Coach Bammer, he told me like defense is what wins games. So, he very much developed that in me as a player, and that has carried on with me throughout my basketball career. Defense is what wins games. And I will always remember being able to keep up with the other girls, being able to play down low and like guard whoever I can. But that is what won games. So maybe not a specific play, but overall, like just learning that side of basketball. And that is what carried with me.
That's great. And growing up, who were, excuse me, who were your favorite teams and players to watch growing up?
This is like anybody speaking, even professionally.
Oh yeah,
Or
just when you were younger. Like, did you look up to any players at all?
I actually didn't look up to any basketball players. When I was younger, Serena Williams was somebody who I very much idolized when I was younger. Don't really know why. I think it was just her tenacity, her intensity, her competitiveness. She was a natural born leader. She knew how to carry herself very professionally. She didn't take on any comments like people yelling at her in the stand. She really handled herself well. And I think I looked up to her in a way as somebody who was a true professional player and she didn't let external factors affect her game.
And what was most interesting, you just talked about defense. You were one of the best defensive players I saw in the league for the women's league during the summer. You know, what are some tips you use for defense that other girls can learn from, and even other basketball players can learn from?
Never give up. And if you make a mistake, you better work twice as hard to recover and get back on defense. And communication is huge. You on defense, there's 5 of you out there that's supposed to play like a team. So instead of looking at it only from your perspective, use the other 4 teammates that you have and create a 5-person unit rather than keeping it single. Because if you're not talking to somebody, if it's as simple as calling out a screen, you're setting your team up for failure. They could potentially get injured and you lose a possession, you lose a point. The team gained and capitalized from your mistake because you didn't talk. So, working as a cohesive unit, that all starts with the communication. Don't do it alone. You have teammates for a reason. Like, that's why it's called teammates and it's a team sport. So, use all the angles and perspectives that you have to keep you together.
So you seem really competitive, right? Was there anything early on that kind of shaped your competitiveness?
Just always looking to improve. So if there was anything I can improve in my game and take from my mistakes, I wanted to benefit myself because I'm not going to lie. If someone beat me in a game or if the person I was guarding had the most points, that got me upset. And that was something I took a lot of pride in. Like my coaches gave me a job. And if I didn't do that job, I felt as if I failed them and I failed the team, whether we won or lost. I failed as a player in myself because that was my responsibility. And again, I take such pride in the defense and just overall competitive and intensity that that's what helped my game to improve. It got me working harder. It got me pushing my other teammates as well, and just overall improve my game from so many angles.
And during the summer, you averaged 20 rebounds a game, which is by far the highest number I've seen. How do you do it? Why do you do it?
How do I do it is hard. I want the ball. I want to make sure that my team is the one scoring. I don't want to go back on defense. That takes a lot more work than having to do something on offense. So, and it's more exciting when you get something on offense and you keep the possession. It's a little bit more exciting. Defense has its exciting moments too, but just getting the rebound, it shows my hustle. It shows that I want it and got to keep up with me in that aspect. So, how I do it is there's not really one answer for that. I guess it's just, again, it goes back to my competitiveness and intensity. Like I see it and I want to go for it. And I see it right there and I'm going to try it. If I don't get it, okay, I didn't get it, but at least I know I tried for it. So it helps. I feel as though if one person is being really competitive, it's gonna step up all of your teammates as well to go to that level.
Yeah, it sure does help as a teammate when you see Tessa Zamolyi literally grab the ball from someone. They get the rebound, the opponents get the rebound, and then you just grab it from them and make a layup. It definitely inspires your team.
It's least expected.
Least expected.
And it's just, again, like not giving up. So if I can make a spontaneous act out of that and get the person to mess up that mistake, again, I'm not stopping until a whistle is blown or until the clock goes off. I'm not making it easy on them. And it shows respect in a way.
What do you think one of the hardest things you had to work at to be a better player on the court?
Handling my emotions. I was always the type of player who took a lot of pride in themselves and was very hard on themselves as well. So if something didn't happen, again, whether we won or lost, I could have had the most points. I could have had the most rebounds, but I would always think back on the game and tell myself, you could have done that better. You could have looked at this. And during the game, it's really hard to handle all those kinds of emotions and everything running through your mind because you're hearing the stands, you're getting feedback from the refs, your team. You look over at your coach and you can see them maybe throw their hands in the air after something you did. Everything builds up. So I really tried to handle my emotions and not let the other team know what I was going through. Really had to hold it in. And sometimes that benefited in my favor. If I didn't get a certain call, I would get really mad and I would show that in my game. I would just play with another octave of intensity. You wouldn't even realize it. My parents said I would go into beast mode because I would just be absolutely everywhere, guarding 5 people at once because of one call that I didn't get. So handling those emotions, really trying to not talk back at the refs and just focusing on the game. So that was probably one of my biggest struggles.
Yeah, talking back to the refs is one of the biggest.
Oh yeah, that's Joe. That's 1,000% what you struggle with.
I know.
So he holds the record. Joe, can I say it?
Go ahead.
He holds the record for the most technicals out of any player I've seen.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Not
really?
in the ACL. In the ACL, he actually has 0.
Yeah.
Wait, that's crazy.
That's because Kirk's cool with me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was funny too because I became a ref last year. So I was reffing for a little bit. I give them so much credit being on the opposite side because there is so many things that you have to look for. And granted, as a player, you look for those things as well. You look for it and you probably make the mistake and it's yeah, I walked, or no, I should have gotten that hit. What are you not looking for? But you study and you know the rules of the game. But again, it's so much that you have to look for. And when there's only 2 of you, That's a lot of ground to cover. You have half of the half court that you're looking at and 10 players that you're overseeing. So I give them credit. As a coach, I will still yell at them. I will still say that girl walked or do whatever. So that I can't hold back or stop. That's just in my blood.
So you can pick a couple. Which coach do you think made the biggest impact on your playing career?
Do I have to pick just one?
You don't have to, no.
Okay, good. So definitely going back to Coach Bammer, he was the one that strictly started my defensive game, which I think personally is one of my top aspects and greatest characteristics I have in the game.
Actually, I just want to jump in. That is true. Like just watching how you play, it's not the scoring, not even the rebounding or defense. It's the tenacity you bring is unmatched. You don't even have to score. You don't have to do anything, but you're like, it looks like when we're watching you on the court that you're just the glue that's holding everything together on defense. But go ahead. Okay, what else?
No, I appreciate that because, again, like I take such pride in that. So that's like greatly appreciated that you said that because it actually shows. So Coach Bammer, definitely with defense. My AAU coaches, Coach Irv and Coach Jess, they were very much like a huge support and rock to me. And they were ones that when I was playing AAU, they asked if I could play with the older girls. So I played at a higher level. That also helped my game. I was playing with these girls who have more experience than me, who are bigger than me, faster than me. But every time I played with them, I adapted to their level. And now I was playing at a higher level versus just what my grade and what my age is. So it didn't matter. And so they got me to play at a step higher, which I greatly appreciate and just kept moving from there. But lastly, I very much idolize Coach Spur, who is the head coach at Moravian right now. She is one of the strongest people I know, and she's fearless. She really tries to advocate for all of her players and not only build them as players, but build them as people, preparing them for the real world. Because again, basketball is only a small portion of your life. It's something that you should enjoy. It's something that you should love. But taking what she teaches them and then applying them to life, like discipline, commitment, competitiveness, you can apply all of those factors into your daily life. When you go for a job, when you're in interviews, when you have to handle tough people, when you're fighting for a spot, like what are you going to do? What did you learn from your times in basketball that you can apply to your life? So she definitely works to build people as an overall character, like being that main character in their life, growing to young professional women.
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you there for? You were there for all 4 years?
No, I actually started off at Misericordia University. It's a little non-traditional route, so I'll try and make that brief. I played basketball for the first 3 years at Misericordia. Something happened my senior year. Wasn't able to play. It was also during the year of COVID, so greatly impacted that. I did study and get my bachelor's and master's at Ms. I did 5 years of track there when the COVID eligibility was put in place. After I'd completed my studies and track, I was eligible for another year of basketball. I put myself in the portal, and then that is when I went to Moravian, because at that time, I was thinking of playing overseas and I needed recent film. It wasn't going to work if I had film from over 2 years ago. You wanted to show something much more recent. So luckily for me, Moravian had a spot open and they tried to recruit me after high school. Couldn't go. It's just a little too close to home. I needed to be a little bit further away. But I got the opportunity again. And at this time, it was much more convenient. I could live at home, not pay for food and board. I could still work. I had to take a couple classes, but I was able to then play my senior year and enjoy that year at Moravian.
Nice. So overall college experience, how do you feel about this time? You spent lots of time studying in college and all that. How was that time like for you?
You know, going into college, people tell you that you do have free time. you still have time to be able to enjoy yourself and build that social life. You don't believe it at first because coming from high school and practice, you're like, oh my gosh, if this is what high school is like, it's going to be so much busier in college. No, you have that free time. You have that flexibility to get in the extra work you need for sports, to take that study time, to build your GPA and to build your curriculum and studies as a student. So there was a lot of dedication put into studies and my sports because I also did track. So I went from one right to the other. And with my studies, my field was aggressive. So we had to maintain such a high GPA. So
What field?
I studied speech language pathology.
What is pathology?
So it's really just speech therapy. So if
Okay.
you think of it as like physical therapist, occupational therapist, I was a speech therapist. So we work, best way I can describe it is we work from the throat up. We deal with a lot of communication, language, speech impediments, cognition, dementia, stroke, and we also deal with swallowing disorders. So very, very huge line of all ages, kids to adults. We work with a ton of people in various areas. So that's a competitive field and you have to do well in it. So it took a lot of my time, but I was able to find a balance and time manage everything very well to fit everything and still enjoy myself.
So how has the process been like for you? The last time you played basketball was Portugal, correct?
Correct.
Right. And then you come back, you start your job, correct?
Mhm.
How has that transition been like for you?
Not as bad as you would think. In speech therapy is a little bit different too, because once you graduate, you have to finish a clinical fellowship year. So it's basically a paid internship. You're still under a mentor, learning the ropes, learning under somebody else who has been experienced in the field. So when I came back, I only had a short amount of time to finish that until I was fully independent. So when I was in Portugal, though, I was looking for jobs by the time March came around because I was leaving around May to come home. And then I started working right away in July. So it was definitely a little bit difficult of a transition, but easy to adapt to as well because I had already prepared myself before even coming home.
That's great. So let's rewind a little bit. How was you went to Moravian your last year, correct?
Yes.
And then you went overseas to Portugal.
Yes.
How was the time over there?
Undescribable. I loved it. And it was a very quick transition too. Ended the year at Moravian, ended whatever classes I had to take there as well. And then when I was talking, I had to go through a camp that I did in July. And then once July hit, we were talking to somebody who ran this Euro basketball league. That was the camp I went through. He automatically pulled me aside and said, hey, I think I have a team for you. We're going to get you in touch with the head coach. And then I was off in September. So very quick transition. But the fact of just living there for a year, and that was the first time I was really on my own too. I was still living with my parents at the time. I just finished college. So I wasn't looking to move out or anything yet. And so being on my own and experiencing adult life per se in terms of that and having sport, having basketball be my job, it was a little bit of a culture shock in a good way though. I absolutely loved it. I loved being able to learn from the people there, how they live, how they eat, their style of work, and even just the basketball too. It's so much more competitive in Europe, so much more competitive. Quickness, physicality, the different type of players, because you have people who are still playing in their 30s. So you're again going up against people who have years of experience under your belt. And at that time, I was only 24. So I was playing with people who were older, and it's just a different realization of how they live and what they do to play their sport as well.
Did you ever get homesick?
A little bit. Yeah, definitely when it hit that middle mark around Christmas time and the holidays is definitely when it hit. But fortunately for me, my parents have family friends who live in England. So I was fortunate enough to go and spend Christmas with them in England. So that was hugely just a great booster for me because there is such thing as seasonal depression. You don't believe it until it actually hits you. But especially being away from home, only being able to call them or seeing them across the phone, it's not the same as like a hug or even just like a high five or something, or actually seeing them in person. So I was very fortunate to go over and be with people who I was familiar with for the holidays.
And you made a lot of friends over there?
Oh yeah, my entire team I made friends with. I made other friends at the gym with, and it was really funny too because when I went back, one of my friends had a child, one of my friends had a baby, so I got to meet their kid.
Great.
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
How can you compare the culture over there to over here?
I will definitely say they are very much more laid back. They are much more happy. And I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but just their lifestyle of work, they go and they just live their days very light. It's like a weight is lifted off in a way, and they're just so happy. They're so people oriented and supportive. And we do have the support here as well. It's a little bit more intense, very much so. They will definitely have their support and like aggressiveness towards each other in Portugal as well, but they live so freely. And it's here, we work a ton, but we work a ton to provide for our families and whatnot. They do as well. It's just, it's a different light. It's a different aspect, just the way they carry themselves. You can even just feel in their presence like a weight is lifted off.
Are they like sleeping like during the wet day a little bit and stuff like that, like afternoon?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I would go out with them a couple times, they go out till 6 a.m. So versus here, when bars and everything close at 2, the first weekend I went out with them, they're like, oh, prepared to be out till 5 or 6 a.m. I said, oh, okay, you guys are just telling me that.
Yeah.
No, it's very true.
Yeah.
I would come back and go to bed, and that's the time I would wake up at 2 p.m. because I wouldn't get back till 6 a.m. like the sun's coming up. That is one of the most things I had to adapt to. But yeah, and then their stores, when they open, it's a morning shift. They have an afternoon break from like maybe 12 to 2, 12 to 3, and then they reopen from like 4 to 2 a.m. or something for dinner. And they eat so much later. And that's something I'll never get used to, eating at 10 p.m. I can't do it. I will never get used to that.
I think it's a big difference, especially in the Northeast, because it's so fast paced up here.
Agreed.
Even compared to a lot of the other places in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But are there any other places that you visited over there while you were in Portugal that you like?
I very much stayed just within Portugal, other than the one time where I did go to England. I stayed a lot within the northern region. One time I did travel down to the south and I got to see Cristiano Ronaldo's game. One of his games I got to see. I just bought a ticket and I was like, okay, I'm free that day. I'm going to go. So definitely next time I go back, I want to hit more of the southern region because they have the most beautiful beaches. And it's like bottom of the country. It is the bottom. So, but everywhere else where I visited, it was just as beautiful as anywhere else.
Are there any foods that stand out over there that you miss?
Oh, they have this one signature dish. It's called a francesinha. So it's like a 5 meats and it has bread and there's this homemade red sauce. And then sometimes they have like a fried egg on top or not, but it is a signature dish. It's to die for. It is so good. Everything there is just so fresh, so cleanly made. It's amazing. Even the drinks.
So if you had a choice, overseas lifestyle or here, which one would you pick?
Overseas.
Why here?
Hands down. Okay. That's such a hard question. Well,
Family?
I mean, yeah, I have all my family and friends here.
Just pick them up and go there.
I mean, I really just did this past weekend. I literally went for 3 days. But no, just like overseas style, it's just different. I could probably retire and live in Portugal. Like that would be one of my retirement spots. But I mean, I love it here too. It's what I'm used to. It's what I'm familiar with. It's what I grew up with. I love my family. I love that I'm close with them. I'm able to be within a good proximity where I could see them like, hey, I'm 10 minutes from home. I can drive. Yeah. I'm sure if I learned the language
Yeah.
and went back and was able to be with all my friends, I could make a living there.
Or just like coaching. You could be a coach, right?
Some people
I'm
actually
telling you.
do that. I did meet a couple people who played on different teams and they were there for so long. They helped out with coaching and building up younger players. It's a thought. Don't worry. I've come across it before. It's in
You
the back
can't
of my
let
mind.
basketball go. It's a
Never.
lifestyle.
Never. Why do you think I became a coach?
No, I know. True. So how has player development been? Like you focus a lot on player development as well.
Yeah. So specifically at Moravian, I told them, I said, I do have a full-time career job. So if I am to do anything, I would love to be there and do extra workouts with my players and specifically focusing being a post. That's who I work more so with than guards. I could teach the guards a few things, but definitely nothing specialized.
That's interesting. You were a shooting guard though.
I was, but in terms of maybe making moves or reading defense or keeping the ball moving, I could help them a little bit, but definitely not as much as the posts. With the post, I can help them with moves, reading defense, how you should box out, like going to grab it, who are you looking for, and basically just reading the court. So like as a post, what can you look for to better your game? You're going to be inside the paint. If you can shoot, okay, shoot a little bit out. Use those short corners. How are you going to move well in a zone defense working with your other post player? Like, are you going to be kind of jumbled up in the middle or how's the spacing going to work? Those types of things.
So what do you think was the hardest adjustment going from player to coach?
Honestly, for me as a player, a lot of things came naturally. So I guess being able to put myself in one of my players' shoes where things might not come as naturally, because I watch a lot of players, not even my own team, but even who we play against, I watch them and I go, how do you not just go for that? Or how do you not just make that move? It's like they need a little bit more of that teaching, that self-awareness, court awareness, where me, it came very naturally. So I guess a little bit holding back, not in terms of frustration, but putting myself in their aspect. What do they see? So how can I help break it down even further in a way that they can comprehend it?
And I remember last time we went through this, but I want the audience to hear about it one more. Or they haven't heard about it. I want the audience to hear about it. There was one game you said specifically you had at Moravian University where the head coach was like, okay, Tessa, you're guarding their best player. And I think they were a point guard, right?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I know exactly what you're talking about. So this was actually when I was playing at Ms. So it was my freshman year and we were going up against DeSales and Misericordia and DeSales, biggest rivalry in the conference. That's who our biggest rivalry was. And we were two really good teams. So we brought a lot of action. We brought a lot of people to the games for the excitement. My coach looked at me and said, Tess, you're going to guard. Her name was Leandra Sterner. She was a senior at the time, so much more experienced than me coming in as a freshman. And this was also a point where it's like, we're only midway or maybe a little bit towards the end of the season. So when he told me that I was guarding a point guard and I'm a forward, much less a shooting guard, I was freaking out. I was panicking. So at the time we ended practice, I'm like, how am I going to guard her? We have better guards. We have quicker guards than me. Who can guard this girl? Why are you choosing me? So I remember pacing back and forth in my freshman dorm, like our living room. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. I have to guard her tomorrow. And she's like trying to calm me down. She's saying, Tess, remember, you've guarded her before. You guarded her during summer league. Remember back to what you did and just play. She's just on a different team now. And I even remember one of my friends come back out because I was crying too. Like I was panicking so much that tears were coming down my face. And he's like, are you okay? Like what's going on? And so I talked it out with him. And then once the game came, very much anxious throughout the day. It was also their Dig Pink game. So you knew the sales bleachers were going to be filled with fans and audience. It was a huge game for them. So once the game started, though, I was good. Once jump ball came, I knew I was in the zone. All I had to do, and if I got one steal or I made her pass the ball once or she didn't get a shot off, it was just that one time was all I needed. And then it just built from there. And there was a point in the game where the coach got so upset with how she was playing, she got subbed out.
Yep.
That was the biggest morale booster for me. Because I'm like, I'm a freshman and I just took down a very experienced senior.
And the reason I brought that up was because you're going through your players, right? And one of the things they struggle with, especially the younger they are, is confidence.
Yes.
And being worried. How do you ease them? How do you prepare them for that while you know what's going through their head? Your people try to calm you down, but you weren't calmed down until the ball was jumped.
Yep.
What do you do to calm your players down?
You prepare them as best they can. So that's where practices are crucial. You prepare them for the games coming up. That's why you do scouting reports. That's why you go over their set plays. That's why you practice so hard against each other for physicality, for stamina, endurance, and just like overall the speed of the game. You prepare them as much as possible so that practices are more difficult than the games. Because when you go into the game, you realize, oh, this may not be as bad as I thought. And again, it's just the anticipation. The anticipation of waiting a whole day. You do a couple classes, like if we have a game Wednesday, go through a couple classes, you're thinking about the game in your head. The bus ride, oh my gosh, all you're doing is thinking about the game. And then once you're warming up, you're like, I'm ready to start. I'm warmed up. I need to get this going. But you make sure they're prepared as possible. Every little thing counts. And I wanted to mention this last time when I was here and I was driving home and I thought of it. It's looking at the big picture. What are all of those little things that you can build and you can put together that are going to contribute to the entire game and see the overall big picture of? Because I feel as though we get caught in the little moments and people are forgetting what the overall goal is. Okay, you lost this one game. That's totally fine. Win all the other games. Beat all the better teams. That not only puts you at a better spot, but that puts the other teams, the other good teams that you beat, in maybe a worse spot. So overall, look at the big picture. Don't just focus on one aspect at a time. Focus on multiple things that you can bring together, and it overall helps your end goal.
Did you have a specific pregame routine?
Honestly, I was one of those players that when it was game day, do not talk to me. Do not talk to me. Like, I had the headphones in, I had my music on, I was in the zone. I would talk to you if you like came up to me, asked me a question. Like, I would still be friendly in that way. But once it was game time, it was game time. I was locked and loaded on game time. I was going through my player personnel in my head. I was going through our plays in our head. What were we practicing? What is this team good at that we needed to shut down? I was going over all of those things in my head, which in a way very much mentally prepared myself. Again, it just goes back to that preparation until that first jump ball goes.
And I remember we touched on this last time. There was one specific play that I asked you, if you could get the ball back one more time, what would you do?
Yep. I had a feeling you were going to ask this one again. So I had to make sure I remembered it. But this is when I was at Moravian and we were playing Catholic University. So it was right at the end of the game. I don't remember the exact score, but we may have lost by 2. I was taking the ball up and I thought I had a good shot off. I didn't realize how more open my player was. And she was in a spot where she could hit that shot 9 out of 10 times. So instead of me taking the shot where I was a little bit more contested, I wish I could go back and just give her the ball because she probably would have made that shot and we would run into overtime. So if there's that one specific play, and there's probably others that I could think of, but that was the first one that popped into my head.
I have to ask, music-wise, what were you listening on the bus?
anything with a great pump up. So 2 songs that immediately come to mind is All I Do Is Win. Of course, that's just a classic one you have to hit. And Just Wanna Rock. I really liked the beat of that, and it was an intense beat that started me on a high, and I could only go up from there. If I started like very mellow, I felt as though I had to really energize myself. So if like I was already on a high, I kept moving up.
Do you notice any of your players listening to certain songs before they have their game?
Probably nothing specifically. I try and think of our warm-up mix, and I honestly couldn't tell you because the music's also changed. So they're listening to music that I haven't listened to or I'm familiar with, but I don't know the name or the
What do you think
artist.
about the new music, the rap music that's coming out and stuff like that? The new popular music. What's your rating?
I don't think it's bad, but it's lucky it has a good beat because sometimes I really try and focus on the lyrics and I have no idea what they're saying. So I focus on the beat, and that's where it's like, if it's a good beat, okay, I'm vibing with it. But like then getting into the lyrics, I don't know what they're saying, or it's like it doesn't make sense to me. So I try and see if a good beat is there, but it's not all bad. It's definitely, it's a good mix. It has a good mix, and there's a lot of like competitive artists. So I like how it's new, but also kind of a similar style.
So being a coach, what do you think's the best way to handle a player that has a lot of talent but struggles with discipline?
I think you have to tell it to them straight up. If they're thinking, and I know we talked about this last time, and it goes back to entitlement. You're speaking a lot, and I'm hearing you, but I'm not seeing it. And I'm one who won't take that. I was one that I was raised to work for everything. And the reward is so much sweeter the harder you worked for it. And it's just more it's just so much more satisfactory too. And again, once you get it that one time, you can't help but continue to prove in that way. So someone who has a lot of great talent, but poor attitude, bad discipline, I'm sorry. I think those tell a coach a lot more as to them as a person. And again, you're trying to develop these players, not only as a player, but as their overall person and preparing them for life. So it's the same thing as work. Your boss is not going to tolerate that. If you're not showing up, if you're not giving them a good reason, they're going to fire you right there. You're lucky that college sports, we can't really fire you. We just hope that you're learning something from it and just having a little pride in yourself. So that entitlement, I think, is crazy these days because people do so much talking and they expect so much more, but they're not putting in the work. And it's selfish. It's selfish. You have all that talent. It's just selfish to yourself. You have all that talent and potential. What are you doing for it? You're doing nothing. You're expecting it to just come when you need to put in the work.
Papow, you ready for this question?
Of course.
This is your favorite topic.
Ooh.
The NIL.
Oh, gosh.
How do you feel about it?
I don't like it. I will be flat out. I think the NIL is taking a lot away from the game. I think it's becoming very political, and it's just taking away from the game itself, like the enjoyment of it. And again, you can go back to people who have this talent, but now that you're getting an NIL deal, you're playing just to play, and you're playing more so for money versus the game itself. And you have, again, so much potential or possible potential that you can showcase, but it just goes to show you're really only there for the money. So I think it takes away a lot from the game, and that's what you enjoy, is you enjoy the game.
So you feel like college basketball is kind of falling off a little bit because of it?
A little bit, yeah. I think it's just drawing focus away from what's really important. Like, why'd you really go there in the first place? For me, when I was recruited for basketball, it helped me as an outlet.
But didn't the portal help you?
The portal did, yes. But the portal was always there in a way.
Okay.
It's just now it's kind of used more. But again, you're not getting playing time somewhere. So you hope that going into the portal and getting yourself to a new university, it's going to change. But the thing that's not going to change is the consistency and hard work that you have to put in. So yes, you're being recruited and hopefully you get to play for a new team. But just because you're there doesn't mean you're going to get a starting spot right away. You still have to show for it. And that's what I think it's being taken away, is that work ethic, is that discipline, is that determination and commitment you originally signed up for.
And just, you don't have to bring up any names, but have you seen teams and players that you're kind of sad about with the new NIL rules that are kind of like affecting colleges?
Not personally anybody to my knowledge that I know I'm familiar with. I actually don't even think I know anybody who has an NIL. I just know the NIL as an overall factor, how it's experiencing. And again, this is just totally my opinion, and I could be seeing it at a different light, and they could have a completely different purpose for what the NIL is going for. But just for me, it's drawing focus away from what you love and what you work so hard to get into in the first place.
Do you think it takes away from the academics?
It could in a way. It very much could in a way. I guess it just depends what you want to study and you want to go for as well. And I think every major is hard. I think anything what you study for is hard.
I'm telling you, business is easy. Well, go ahead.
I mean, there's always topics that are easier than others. I mean, engineering, that's tough. Being a doctor, a surgeon, that's high up there. That's tough. Business factors maybe a little bit, but if you specialize something in business, that takes more effort. That takes more commitment from you because that's something you're specialized in. That's something you strictly want to focus on, and that's hard within itself. So I really think anything you go into is difficult. It's just, again, how much work are you going to put into it? Are you going to make it easy for yourself? Or are you going to just wait till everything kind of comes to you and you have to dig yourself out of a hole? So the NIL deal in terms of academics, I'm not too sure about. I think it could sway your decision in terms of what you want to study and what you maybe dreamed of studying when you were younger.
Well, just look at it like this, right? I'm a freshman, straight out of high school. I'm not even 19 yet. I'm still 18, right? I get to college. I'm making more money than my coach. So how do you think I'm going to feel? How do you think I'm going to feel? I'm going to be like, Coach, what do you know? I'm making more money than you.
Exactly. Again, it goes back to that entitlement. But again, like, look at the coach. How long have they been coaching? They didn't even know NIDs existed. They had to work hard for their position. So the NIL sways it a little bit because you don't have to work as hard as people did 20, 30, even like 10 years ago. So I think it's just a sway in decision and might be a little bit of an easier out for yourself. That's just me personally.
So transitioning to the future, how do you think our generation, not in terms of basketball, but we're looking like by the year 2050? You think we're going in a good direction, iffy direction, or bad direction?
In terms of just the sport overall?
No,
or
not
the
the sport, just us. Just us as the United States or as a people.
I will be completely honest. I don't think it's moving in a good direction. I think a lot of people are becoming entitled, and I will say it, and I will not care if I say this, I think we're becoming a sensitive country.
Yeah.
Every little thing we are taking to heart. And you could take some things to heart, but it's how you handle it. It's how you deal with it. And I think that's where people are getting thrown off guard because, again, we're doing so much talk and not a lot of action. So it's very much like depleting. It's depleting in a way, and it's a demeanor. It's just such a low that we're putting ourselves in. And you have people who are just walking about thinking that they could just walk in. It's like, yeah, I'm this type of person, or I know this person. It's like, okay.
How do you think social media is affecting us?
Ooh, going on a tricky subject there. I've thought very back and forth with social media because you do have those influencers, and yes, they may make a lot of money based on what they can do or their personality, their persona, the way they draw people and attend to their audience. And in a way, it could seem, again, like another easy route, but you also go back to it and think about maybe the work that they put in. Personally, influencers, to me, I'm just not that type of attention person. I physically cannot imagine myself making videos every day, editing videos, and like, again, everything is strictly appearance too. Like, they see you. It is clear, cut, and dry, and it could take away from themselves. Like, you have no natural essence anymore. It's a cover in a way.
Definitely.
Even just simply like wearing all the makeup just so you can look good on camera. It's like, where's the natural beauty to yourself?
It's like if when we post this podcast now, you know, maybe 100 people go watch it, 150.
Yeah.
But how many people are watching the reel, the clip, right? Probably 10,000,
Yeah.
7,000, 8,000, right? So it gets to a point in which what you show on social media is what people believe to be true about you.
Yes. And they'll only look at that little clip and they'll try and find a negative out of it because people tend to focus on that negative. It's like, oh, this girl can only do that. Okay, I can do that 10 times better. But that's not the point. The point is to share a message. The point is to improve yourself and help society in a way that just gets people motivated and engaged. And a lot of people are glued to their phones. It takes away from, okay, yes, I'm here, I'm filmed. And like, I'll admit, if I'm in a nice place, like if I'm in Portugal, like I posted the beautiful weather.
Yeah.
It was 50 there.
Are they always on social media too? Or no? No.
No, not really. No. So many people there. And just the way like the country is set up too, especially where I lived in a little more city area. Very little. It's not like a New York City. It's just very people watching. You have all of these tables outside of cafes. People go to sit, they enjoy, they talk to each other. I don't think I really ever saw people on their phones. It's just, again, the engagement and the personal connection you have between people. And that's just what I loved about it more. People weren't glued to their phones.
Yeah,
That's good.
the social connection is huge. Do you have any issues with any of your players that you have to kind of help them with social connection and not being on their phone as much?
No, they're all pretty good. I mean, granted, they'll look at Instagram or their Snapchat every once in a while when they're bored and they'll scroll. But in terms of being glued to it and being able to redirect them and have them get off their phones, no, they're good. They're good with it.
No, I know it's weird. It's like I can only imagine what life was like before phones. Can you imagine? I can't. People were actually like sitting around and talking to each other.
I know. It's crazy to think how things have evolved these days. And even when you did have a phone when you were younger, it was a flip phone. You didn't see FaceTime. You didn't have the social media contacts. It was you typed in a number. And that was the other thing too. You had to memorize or look up the phone numbers in a phone book. I can't imagine the phone book. But now you just have them installed in your phone.
Don't even go that far. I'm going home and I'll plug in GPS and I've been there a million times.
And you just become dependent.
Yeah.
So when it was younger and like even laptops and stuff, you think about how they worked. You had to go in, you had to physically do the labor.
Now you just have AI, ChatGPT, give me this, boom.
So many people are going to be out of jobs. I'm telling you right now.
I know.
So many people
it's
are
good
going to
that
be out
you're
of jobs.
not going to be out of a job because they can't try to build an AI to teach someone to speak, right?
I mean, maybe other aspects like could teach other things, but I hope not. Now you got me.
No, I think you're good.
Okay, good.
And if you aren't, make sure you build an AI for Tessa. So like you can send your AI to work.
Oh gosh. Well, luckily for me, I work with the older population, so I can actually talk to them because they grew up without the phones and laptops, and I love hearing about their life. Oh my gosh, I love that they're able to just be so comfortable and speak about how they live.
Wow.
And some will even look at me and I'll be typing on my laptop and they'll go, "What is that?" And I have to explain to them what a laptop is because you just don't realize in that moment where they came and how they grew up. It's so cute. I love it. I love it.
So before we wrap up, let's get back to coaching. What was one of the moments that made you proud as a coach?
That one's hard. What makes me proud as a coach is just knowing that I'm able to be there for them in anything that they need, whether it's basketball wise or outside with anything they have to deal with. I hope that they feel comfortable coming up to me, especially because I am a little bit closer in age and better relation versus some of the older coaches that we have who have been around much, much longer. But considering I also knew a majority of the girls on the team before coaching, being able to now coach them and be that much closer with them really gives me gratification. And it's just heartwarming to know if you teach them something and then they do it. Because that's really a hard part. Like, you have girls who are coachable, you have girls who are not coachable. All of our girls are coachable. It's just a matter of that confidence in themselves. So when they actually do it, it's so gratifying because you know you did well for them. And that just puts a huge smile and a little bit of relief on me, actually, because I just know I did well for them.
And before we end, now we got to go to some fun questions. Kobe or MJ?
Kobe.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Offense or defense?
Defense. You already know that one.
Yeah.
3-pointers or middies?
Ooh, I like the 3 points. The mid, I always had such trouble with. The little two-footers would annoy me so much if I didn't make it because it was just so much pressure. So 3 points.
Okay. Post or driving?
Post. I did not like driving. I did not like driving as a player. Post for sure.
How about rebound or steal?
Ooh.
Rebound.
I'm going steal
Hands
any
down.
day.
Hands down rebound.
I love stealing. Okay, steal or block?
Considering I didn't really do much of both, I'll do block. I'll do
Okay.
block. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one with the free throw made or 3?
Oh, and one with
And
the
one
free throw.
always.
And one with the free
Yeah.
throw. Oh, no brainer.
Okay, last one. Talent or chemistry?
Chemistry. That's the only way you're going to win games,
That's true.
especially in team sports. If you want to do a single sport, go ahead. Do a single sport. You're in a team sport, expect to play with your team. If you are singling yourself out, trying to be the best player out there, you're going to get nowhere. Those 4 other people are with you for a reason, wearing the same jerseys as you. Respect them, utilize them, build that chemistry, because you're going to go much further.
And last question. So, as your career continues to progress and you have so much unraveling and unfolding, who do you want to be remembered as in 50 to 100 years?
Oh my gosh. I don't even.
50 to 100.
50 to 100 years.
Maybe
Let's just say 20 to 30.
Maybe
Yeah,
Tessa's like the best ever at something.
Honestly, I want to be remembered as somebody who never gave up, who always showed up, and who always gave it 110%. Never backed down from anything, and just left a legacy for younger people to grow into. Even now, as a coach, like when the day comes and I don't do coaching anymore because of whatever reason, I hope that someone who fills in the spot, I left something for them to capitalize on or to invent in their own way, but just leaving something behind for future generations.
That's an excellent answer. Well, Tessa, it's been an excellent podcast. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for
Thank
letting
you,
me come
Tessa.
again.
Yep.
Thank you.